Hello again, and welcome back to TenPaths Tarot. Today we have a reading about mother, daughter, father, son, mother, son, father, daughter, familial relations. This is about how our words of prophecy affect those around us. It's about our communication. And this affects most people in one way or another. And so I'm just going to start and we'll see where it takes us. We start out with judgment. And right away, we see a young woman, and on either side of her is her mother and her grandmother. And they are, I can almost hear them, talking about how things are and things that happen to them. And they're both trying to make each other understand, the mother and the grandmother, where they're coming from, what parts were more difficult. And the young woman is hearing this and thinking how this doesn't apply to me. This is what I want. I see what I want. They don't look like they want to let her out of their grasp. One is on either side of her. She has to hold the string. They're all holding the same string. They can't break that connection, or at least that's what she's been told. But she doesn't see how their life applies to her. And in some ways it will, and in some ways it won't, because we're all born into whichever generation we're born into, and each generation has different norms and different societal rules. And so we have this little drama going on. And the mother thinks it's very important for her to communicate her experiences in front of her daughter so that her daughter will know how scary the world is. But is that the message we want to send? Because this is what is happening with this. And we see this looks like the same woman, the young woman in both pictures. And here, the swords are thoughts, are words. And again, I'm thinking one on either side. So one represents the words of the grandmother, one the mother. She is afraid to think for herself, so she just covers her eyes and looks at the ground. Maybe she even feels that thinking for herself is not permitted. And so this leaves her feeling frozen. And then what happens? She breaks away from this. She becomes an adult. And she does it through her own force of will, because she was in a family that always stressed, I'm raising children, I'm raising children. But that isn't the goal. The goal is to raise an adult, which doesn't mean we have to put our children in unusually harsh circumstances or situations to teach them what the world is really like. But it does mean that we have to expect them at some point to feel independent, to develop their own thoughts. And in the next card, in the Queen of Swords, this person has become an adult now. They feel very capable of thinking for themselves. But now I'm wondering, she looks very alone and a little bit embittered. Let's see if I can zoom in on that face there. And I'm wondering if she broke away. She felt a need just to break away from that family because she wanted to be treated as an equal, an adult. Maybe a less experienced equal, but an equal nonetheless, who was entitled to their own life and, even more importantly, their own opinions and outlooks on things. And so there could be some indication here, not for everyone, but for some, of cutting away those ties in an effort to grow. So next we have the Magician. And we are still in recent energy. So she has gone through this, and now this person is thinking they are now capable of making their own dreams come true, or they want to try anyway. So now we're moving into current energy. And with those attempts at moving dreams forward, we feel a freedom that we haven't felt. And this could cause some tension because when I look at these cards, these two do not look like they equal freedom. Not at all. And so there's a joy here. The joy of learning to be independent and that we can do things on our own terms. She still is very much in control. And when I say she, it could be a he, but she's the Queen of Pentacles. So things are growing for her. She is making her life what she wants. She is becoming an adult. But something happens, and this reading doesn't say what happened. Recently, now, when I say recently, this is your current energy. This is now. There's a shakeup. Something happens to make this person that's venturing out in life, who has decided I can be an adult, it starts to make them question themselves, and they get on shaky ground. They remember all of those words that were spoken that made them feel incapable, that made them feel tied to the past, that made them feel tied to parent or grandparent, and all of those words that made them feel incompetent are now coming back on them. And we have the number 4, stability. But we don't want to be in this kind of energy. This is not a good energy to be stable in. And so do we have to stay in that energy? I'm getting a message here that for many people, all of those words were unintended. Unintended slights, unintended magnitude. I'm getting the impression, the message is, I thought you were so much stronger than I was, that unless I was overbearing, that you would not listen to a single word I said. I saw the strength in you. I knew you would do better than me. I knew you would move away from me. And I said those words to delay that, to delay it, because I knew it would happen, and it was just too much for me to bear. But Now all those words that that parent or grandmother, guardian did not mean to have the impact it does. As soon as there's a mistake, as soon as there's a glitch in life, they all come back. Every word that was ever spoken to cause doubt, to cause this kind of fear, just rushes back. In fact, these two cards are one atop the other. This one's on top and this one's on the bottom. And so they all come rushing back. And we want to get out of this. And we're asking, can I ever get out of this? I guess I was a failure. I guess all of those words were right. That prophecy, those words that were communicated to me were right. Spirit is saying you can get out of that. The next card is the world. Everything is open. It's possibilities unlimited for you to explore. It's really up to you to manage this. And I hate to say it, because as old as I am, those words still hurt that were spoken. Those words will always hurt that were spoken. Whether they were intentional or not, it's really up to me to put import or not upon what was said. And sometimes that's easier said than done. And I had good parents too, so it's not like they intentionally belittled me, but still there were words that were said. And sometimes fear was purposefully put in me to protect me from the world. From the world, this beautiful thing. And so I'm sure this has happened with other people. And I'm sure a lot of parents do this, maybe most, unintentionally. Some of it may be from that I'm raising a child mentality instead of I'm raising an adult. If we would say, I am going to raise a capable adult who can think for themselves and decide things for themselves and do things not to make me proud, but to make themselves proud, that might be a constructive thing to develop here. Now, if you're going back, if you were the ones that had these things said to you, that had these little derogatory remarks that made you feel less than, incapable, then if you want to continue that relationship, because here at one point it looks like it might have stopped, at least for a while, but I'm told, remember to say that we want to be talked to as a son or daughter the way you, mom or dad, would have liked to have been talked to when you were young. Can you remember how it was? Can you think of me now as an adult who you can bounce ideas off of, who you can make occasional constructive observations, but we certainly, as adults, would not go to a stranger and tell them how to start living their life, I hope. I guess a few people do, but they're not liked very well. But so, and remember that in some ways, that child that has been raised, that child they are a stranger now, and that we will never know everything that is in their heart, everything they want to do, all of the minor and major obstacles they have faced. In a way, they are strangers. And so we have to treat them with the same courtesy as a stranger. And the same goes for parents, for children with their parents. Treat them with the same courtesy, at least, that you would a stranger. But yes, you are an adult, you are independent, you are one of God's many millions of independent entities here on earth, and that's not going to change. No matter what those words were, that's not going to change. And so I think most families deal with this. And so that is the entire message for today. I hope it helped someone, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.